Sean Puffy Combs, Nelly Furtado, Keisha Shante, Korn, Stevie Wonder, and Destiny's Child are just a few of his A-list clients. As one of the music industry's most innovative and creative video directors, Little X is well sought after. It all began when he was a boy named Julian, growing up in Brampton's N section. He found art while attending North Park Secondary School, and it quickly became his passion. Art was the one thing he excelled in. His first break came when he got an internship at Much Music, which catapulted him into the music world. Combining his artistic talent and musical interest, he moved to New York to pursue an internship with director Hype Williams. With time and effort, his expertise and popularity started to grow. He is now one of the best music video directors in the business. Join me, Bina Pandya, after the break as I go one-on-one with Little X. Were you ever afraid of failure?
Was I ever afraid of failure? One time I felt the demon. I felt the demon. I had just shot my first American video, a guy named Tracy Lee featuring Busta Rhymes, and it was horrible. Just the whole shoot, the whole thing was just absolutely crazy. And I was going home thinking that this might not be for me. But I was able to call guys like Hype and Alan Ferguson and friends of mine, and those guys tell me, don't worry about it, you can make it. Don't let, the enemy is that thought that you suck. You don't suck. You don't suck, you can make it.
Welcome to One-on-One. I'm Bina Pandya, and joining me today I have the highly successful and most sought-after music video director, Little X. Little X, welcome to One-on-One.
All right, thank you for having me.
I understand you're a Brampton boy?
I'm a B-Town boy, yeah.
What part of Brampton did you grow up in?
Right there by Dixie, Williams Parkway.
Okay.
North Park, the N section.
Ah,
Yeah.
very interesting. Little X, what sort of a childhood did you have growing up in Brampton?
I was rough in the mean streets of Brampton, you know.
Well, what sort of challenges did you face as a young black youth kind of growing up in Brampton?
Brampton's a nice place. When I was a teenager, we had our conflicts just like any other young people, especially young black people. The police and us would sometimes butt heads and after a party and things like that. But, you know, not a lot of people around in Brampton. There's a lot of free space for you to go get into your own trouble and not get hassled.
How important to you when you were growing up with school?
School, you know, beyond the basics of, you know, passing your grade and not having your parents kill you when you come home with a report card. School was cool, but, you know, especially when I got into high school, I began to really focus on art and do anything. Any course that had something to do with art is where you'd find me. And then in my regular courses, if I did my homework, it would normally be the creative, like, you know, in English class, it'd make you make a home movie or some kind of creative thing. I'm all over that. An essay, I'd be all over that. Homework.
Not your game.
But I did learn later than the game when I had to go and get some good marks that the high school game was just doing your homework. You do your homework.
Do you think your interest in art was a form of self-expression?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. You know, I've been drawing ever since I can remember. I've always been drawing, so it's just something that was in me that had to come out.
Well, you left home, I understand, at the age of 16.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us are just kind of aiming for a driver's license. Was that a little bit scary?
No. Not. I don't know if I'm a weird kid, but it's just a move I made. I actually didn't move I moved very close to this studio in Mississauga.
How did your parents react when you sort of decided that you wanted to leave home at a young age?
You know, my mother wasn't so happy about it. My father, he just kind of got it. Again, I'm a middle child. I'm used to just being left to my own vices, so.
Did you decide to leave home because you just wanted to party
The
all the
opportunity
time?
was there. My friend of mine had an apartment, and I had figured out that the Peel Board is the Peel Board from Mississauga to Brampton.
Right.
So I knew there would be the same school books at the far end of Mississauga that I had right there in North Park, B-Town, so I left. So there's a place, I can go to school, I'll stay by him, I'm out.
Well then, what did you do after you left home?
After I left home? Went to school. you know, I kind of stayed by my friends. And after about a year, I came back to Brampton and got involved in the co-op program, and that's what got me into Much Music.
And what were you doing at Much Music there?
At Much Music, I was an intern, or they called it a unit assistant. So I was a unit assistant for a show called Rap City and another show called Soul in the City. Right after time, Michael Williams, if you remember that name, some of the kids watching remember that name. Michael Williams had just left being the host. Oliver had not started being the host yet. So there was an in-between time when there's no host for either show, and that's when I worked for them.
That's when you worked for them. During this period that you worked for Much Music, what were some of your sort of aspirations at that time for the future?
Before I came to Much Music, I wasn't thinking about directing. It was at Much Music that when I saw the cameras and the lights and all these kinds of things, I said, hey, this thing with the camera is kind of interesting. I can maybe do the TV thing or the film thing. That'll be interesting. I'll get into that. And it developed, it grew from that, but before it was just drawing.
How did you pursue getting your internship or moving on to New York?
Well, I tracked down through some detective work, found a number to the company for Hype Williams, who's someone who's making big videos at the time and really paying a lot of attention to them, and just being persistent, making phone calls, sent them a package of all my work, my drawings, my t-shirts, my video I did in high school, just anything that could show them I had talent, and sent it down to them. And eventually really took me going to New York and knocking right on the door and walking into the office and making them watch my stuff that got me my internship.
Well, obviously persistence paid off with you, and coming up after the break, we have lots more with Little X. Welcome back to One-on-One with Little X. All right, now you're in New York, the big city, and you've got the internship of your dreams there. What was your first reaction when you sort of got there? Were you kind of bewildered or surprised?
Every now and then you get hit with the, wow, I'm in New York, Like, New York is a big, big city. It's a special place,
How did you support yourself during this period?
I stayed by my aunt and, was doing the little things here and there, draw a storyboard there, still come Canada, little things. I was 19 at the time, so I didn't need a whole lot of money.
So you were willing to do anything. Now, what were some of your roles and responsibilities there?
Dropping packages, picking up packages, dropping packages, picking up packages, cleaning the office, dropping packages. I was an intern, I had to do whatever I had to do, but while I was there, I was really on my initiative, so they'd leave for the night, I'd be there all night, I might rearrange all the furniture in the office, they'd come back in and everything's changed up. I'm like, this is better this way,
So you got yourself kind of known.
I got myself known. It wasn't a big office, it was a small production company, but at the same time, they saw that my mind was working and that I was really on the hustle.
So then how did you move on from delivery boy to doing other things there?
I eventually moved on to doing storyboards.
Right.
And then it was meeting the people that worked in the business and them getting to know me. And again, working my way up, showing them what I had. When I finally shot a video that I shot in Canada with Shot Claire and Julie Black, I was right back in New York City with a tape in my hand showing anyone who could watch.
Being in New York City, working with Hype Williams and all the other people that you came into contact with, were you ever intimidated?
No, not so much intimidated. I respected the hierarchy, so I was intimidated. Like, wow, you're somebody. It's just you're older, you're higher in the game, you're a big man. So I respect that and shut my mouth and play the back.
Do you think even when you were there, it was a constant learning process?
That's a constant learning process all the time. But then, especially at that time, you know, what Hype was doing. It was a really interesting age in hip hop. Things were
Right.
changing. The money was getting bigger. His vision was really changing. The way things were going. The interns, the other interns that were there, were all very in the film and talking technical things about film stocks and camera lenses, and we're just on it,
And how did you continue on with your learning process while you were there?
reading books. I
Reading
eventually had to, there's only so much you can learn just watching.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, you're going to have to touch something, and if no one's going to let you touch something unless you got some kind of knowledge of it. So I had to go out and go to the bookstore and get the books, and everything on filmmaking I could get my hands on, I got it and read it.
Were you ever afraid of failure?
Was I ever afraid of failure? One time I felt the demon. I felt the demon. I had just shot my first American video, a guy named Tracy Lee featuring Busta Rhymes, and it was horrible. Just the whole shoot, the whole thing was just absolutely crazy, and I was going home thinking this might not be for me. But I was able to call guys like Hype and Alan Ferguson and friends of
Right.
mine, and those guys tell me, don't worry about it, you can make it. Don't let, the enemy is that thought that you suck. You don't suck. You don't suck. You can make it.
So you kept that in the back of your mind. During this period, I'm sure it was a tough period, it was a learning period. Did you have a lot of family support even though you were living in a different country, different city?
You know, I'd already family support in the fact that, you know, they knew I was there, but I wasn't getting money or anything like that.
Right.
You
No,
know,
but emotional support, sort of mental support, you know?
yeah, but my mental support really came from me. It was like going to college. Where my other friend had gone off to college, this is my college time and my college age. And, you know, I was out in New York City by myself. Being a guy in New York City is not the funnest thing if you don't know anybody.
Yeah, I guess, you know, we all have this vision that, you know, you go to New York City and you want to be a big sort of music video director, so you weren't partying your nights away there. You were kind of hustling and really
I'd
working
have to know
hard.
somebody to party my nights away. I was a 19-year-old broke kid from Toronto.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There wasn't a whole lot of Cristal popping and yeah, it was not the music video fantasy, that's for sure.
Well, coming up next, we're going to ask Little X some of the ingredients that go into making a great hot music video. Welcome back to One on One with Little X. Little X, you're known for your music video productions. I mean, anybody that's into, you know, hip hop, R&B, even if you're not really into it, we've all seen your work, and we all admire your work. It's glossy, it's hot, it looks great.
Thank you.
I mean, there's, you know, obviously you've perfected your craft. What do you think, coming to you, if I was an artist, I really don't have, I'm not the greatest singer, but I've got the money to give you for a video. Can you make me a star?
Can I make you a star? I don't know if I can necessarily make you a star. I can give you a platform and jump it off. And if you got what it takes and people are going to take to you, then yeah, I can give you the spit shine. I can gloss you up and make you pretty.
Okay, how do you come up with a storyboard?
You get the music and you spend some time listening to it and coming up with ideas and you know, send it off to the client.
Do you necessarily have to like the music?
It helps.
Okay.
It does help. But you know, at the same time, you don't necessarily have to like it. You can also get into filmmaking and the idea that you're going to do, and it's sometimes bigger than the music itself. But the music, it's a music video. So the most successful music videos are going to be the ones with good music.
Okay, is there a difference between creating a hip hop music video or an R&B music video?
No.
No?
No, as far as a filmmaker, it's the same. I'm doing the same things. What we put in front of the camera, that's when things get different.
Okay, and for these music videos that you're putting together, how important is your location?
Depending on the treatment and the idea that you have, it could be all about the location, so it's very, very important. Or sometimes you shoot in a studio and it's a whole other thing. But
what are some of the exotic locations that you've gone to?
I've been to India, I've been to Africa, I've been to South Africa, I've been to England and Jamaica and Trinidad,
Right.
Brazil, Mexico.
As a producer, what are some of the greatest challenges you face when you're shooting on location? Obviously, it's much easier or much more difficult than shooting in studio.
As a director, shooting on location, you're dealing with elements, you're dealing with being outside. Just when you're in an exterior location, even an interior location, you're now just dealing with a new set of elements. There might be a landlord, there may be tenants, there may be other people there. You have to run cables down a thing, you have to drive in your trucks. There's a whole operation. It's like a big military operation sometimes.
What happens when things don't go exactly the way you wanted them to?
Things never go exactly the way you want it to. That's the point. What do they say about God? If you want to make God laugh, make a plan, something like that.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's always stuff going on. There's always something that you didn't expect, but you have to move with it. You have your strategy and you have your tactics.
For the choreography for all your productions, how closely are you involved in that?
I choreograph all my work. I'm a very, very serious. What? I mean, I hire choreographers. I hire very talented choreographers to do this stuff. Sometimes involved, sometimes they come to me and show me what they've got.
Right.
But the dancing is a very big element. I'm big on the dance. I enjoy it. People love it. It's a natural reaction you get when you see people dancing and having fun.
Right.
So
it's true.
It's just a great thing to be a part of.
How important do you think to your success has been your art background?
My art background is very important. It's why I got into music videos as a visual person. I'm a visual artist first. And I read comic books and drew comic books. I thought I was going to draw. I thought I was going to draw comic books when I was in grade school. Then when I got to high school, I thought I was going to be a graphic designer. And then high school, or after high school, is when my film career took shape. But these are all visual mediums.
And these visual mediums that you perfected during high school, if you had a student that sort of views you as a role model, would you tell them to go the same path that you've gone?
No, don't walk my path.
Right.
It's what is it? Don't look to follow in the footsteps, but seek what they sought. You look for what I was looking for. Go to that final destination, but thinking that you'll just put my feet where my feet went and just it'll work out perfectly just like me. It doesn't work like that.
Well, after the break, we're going to ask Little X what it's like to be on top of the game. Welcome back to One on One with none other than Little X. Little X, you are on top of your game right now, your craft.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you
You've
very
got
much.
quite a few MTV nominations. What kind of stress does this put on you?
What kind of stress? Doesn't really put a stress on. It's nice. You appreciate it, especially now really being deeper into the game. I can look back and appreciate or look at things as they happen. Say, wow, 5 nominations. That's pretty cool. When I first started out and I was young and not quite really recognizing what was going on around me, I was very cool about this stuff. Oh, it's cool.
Yeah.
Magazine. You know what I'm saying? No, 5 nominations, that's dope.
That's pretty good.
It's
But
fun.
do you think now the pressure's on you, people expect more and more every year or with every artist that you create for?
Yeah, people do expect it from me, but that's the game. So, you got to go and do your job. And not only do they expect me to do well, but I have expectations of myself and goals to be better. And so you focus up and being better than you once were, not better than everyone else, but better than you once were.
Well, I've read that you're often referred to as the Hugh Hefner of music videos or the Mr. Booty. How do you feel about that?
Those are actually both trademark terms. And no, it's hey, like I said, it's fun. You got to appreciate the whole thing. So hey, I'm the Hugh Hefner of music videos. Sure, you know what I'm saying?
What do you say to some people that say right now in all these music videos, not just yours, like anybody's, that there's just a little bit too much exposure, a little bit too much sex? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, there is a lot of sex in music videos, but the bigger picture for that is why is there a lot of sex and why do we think it's a problem?
Right.
Right. So, we're in a sexually repressed society. And even though as out there as it is, the roots of what our understandings of what sex is still good old Puritan, if you like it, it's wrong, burn a woman at the stake,
Yeah.
type stuff. So deep in our issues with sex is really issues with ourselves. And, you know, I have my own feelings about it, but I understand society. I know the world we live in.
Right.
The bigger picture is, if you think sex is bad, it's you that thinks sex is bad.
Okay, in addition to the music videos, you've also done successful commercials. Is that different from shooting a music video?
Yes.
The same, are you as passionate about it?
I am passionate about it. I say the commercials are the NBA. It's professional, corporate, you know,
Right.
structured things. And music videos are street ball.
Okay.
You elbow someone in the face and they'll elbow you back.
Well, what are you hoping to do in the future?
What am I hoping to do in the future? I'm moving things forward and working on movies and working on commercials and working on music videos and working on my own other
Right.
companies. I'm, you know, big boy now. I'm growing up, so I got to do big grown up things.
And what do you enjoy about coming back here to Canada, to Brampton, to the city?
Love the vibe. Came back for Carabana, so Carabana is always a special thing.
Right.
You know, the people, the parties, the food, it's home. So
If you could do anything different, what would you do?
if I could do
Anything
anything
different.
different, if I could get
Yeah.
in my time machine,
Yeah?
there's a whole. I can't even list them. There's so many things. You know, just like hindsight is 20/20.
Right.
Hindsight is 20/20. So, but I look forward. So, don't worry
Well,
about that.
What does Little X do when you do have, I'm sure your free time is very limited, but how do you just chill out? How do you relax?
How do I chill? How do I relax? Sleep. I go to bed and I sleep and you know what I'm saying? Outside hobbies. If that's
Right.
outside hobbies, I go to life drawing classes and I fight my friends.
Oh, I guess that's a good thing.
It's a good, you know, it's a little sparring. You know, boys will be boys, but those are the things that we do.
Those are the things that you do. How about spending time with family?
Oh, you have to carve out your family time. You know, I just came back from a camping trip with my mother and father and two of my young cousin. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
some little kids running around, and just you break that time off. You make your vacation time, stick to it, and see your family. Christmas time.
Right.
Thanksgiving is but you know, Christmas you have to be home for Christmas, or mom will kill you.
And, you know, it's always good to listen to your mom.
You have to listen to your mom. It's beyond good. You have to.
Well, Little X, I thank you for being here, taking out your time, being so candid and honest, and we really wish you continued success in your career. We're all very proud of you, and we hope to see you back here sometime.
Thank you very much. You're very welcome, and I'd love to come back.
That wraps up another episode of One on One. I hope to see you next time.